Never add too many or too little fish at once. And never add any fish unless your aquarium has been running perfectly and it has been at least 2 weeks since a fish has died, been sick or has been added. Now, when you first introduce fish to your aquarium, they're quite stressed, their immune system's quite low, and then there's a balance of pathogens and antigens that need to occur. There's also various biological balance that needs to occur when you add a fish to the aquarium. So what we want to do is add a small amount of fish, then we wait 2 weeks or so, then we add another small amount of fish, then we wait 2 weeks or so for the stability of the aquarium, both with antigens and pathogens and biological processes. We don't want to go dumping a whole lot of fish in this week, dump a whole lot of fish in a few days, dump a whole lot of fish in next week. Otherwise the system just can't handle it and the system will end up crashing. It'll either give you a disease or it'll give you high levels of nutrients that will kill your fish. Okay, with what Rod's just said is with marine fish, we've got to add a couple of fish, we wait for 4 weeks, then we add another couple of fish, then we wait for 4 weeks. Because basically with the marines, it's really important that we do basically a full quarantine term. So when you introduce a fish, it's got various antigens which control pathogens. Now the antigens are a part of the fish's immune system. So when the fish is stressed, like you catch him, you throw him in a bag, and he's quite stressed, his immune system goes down, so he's not producing as many antigens. So therefore the pathogens, which are normally controlled by the antigens, start to go rampant. And when they go rampant, they go off into the environment, they're a single-celled organism, they reproduce on a hard surface, and they come back as a dinoflagellate, which is a single-celled organism with a tail, and they swim around, they try and attack your fish. So, depending on the species of pathogen, it could be within the first week, could be within the second week, could be within the third week of their life cycle. With marine fish, it's absolutely important that we wait the full 4 weeks, because otherwise the new fish often get sick due to parasites released from the last set of fish, because their immune system's not up. So therefore, their body slime's not intact and their antigen level is not intact. With the freshwater fish, it just doesn't seem to matter so much. So exactly the same principles are occurring in the freshwater as the saltwater, but we just don't seem to have as many problems. Koi, I normally say 4 weeks as well, but quite loosely. It's just conservatively. With the freshwater, this is just not a big drama. In saltwater, this is a huge drama. It's actually quite fine for a lot of people in the freshwater to get a little bit of fish. Next week get a little bit of fish, and next week get a little bit of fish. It's not a hard and fast rule like it is in the saltwater. So, providing you're putting small amounts of fish in at a time, you're usually fine in freshwater. But the reason why I put this down as a point is really just to get you thinking about it. That is definitely a point, and it's also that they just don't seem to be as susceptible to them. So we just don't seem to have the problems. The science is the same, but it doesn't seem to be a problem. So that's why we don't harp on about it. Now the next thing is I say too many. I don't want to have too many fish going in, otherwise the fish produce too much waste, and if they're producing too much waste, there's not enough bacteria in the system to break down the waste of the fish. Otherwise you have problems, imbalance. On the other hand, I also say don't put in too little fish. Because what can often happen in your aquarium is, let's say this is your aquarium, and the fish have been established for some time, and he lives here, and he lives here, and he lives there, and he lives there, and they're all quite comfortable with that. Then you add a new one, or let's say 2 new fish, and the focus of all the other fish are on these 2 new fish. So then he swims over here, and this one says, get out of here, this is my house. And he swims over here, and this one says, get out of here, this is my house. And then he ping-pong balls all around the tank, and he can't find anywhere he's comfortable with because all the nice houses have been taken, and his stress level stays up. So he's just been put into a new neighbourhood, he can't find anywhere to live, he's quite stressed, and so therefore he's much more likely to get sick. What you'd want to do as opposed to that is put more fish in at once. If you put 6 in, then the fish tend to be more accommodating to a larger volume of fish. So if you have 6 fish added to 20 fish, once again, the aggression is and the focus is very much dispersed compared to one or two fish. And